Well, welcome to my dining table in Perthshire in Scotland, and something of a little bit of a different article from my usual. You may recognise the front cover on the left hand side, which is from the Searcher metal detecting magazine from May 2023. The front page shows a certain bronze bull which was discovered by my friend and fellow detecting enthusiast, beginner enthusiast I should add, Albert, who found this pretty incredible oxen, which is some sort of bucket or vessel mount. Probably would have been one of a pair. It could have either held a handle or a chain, which has been lost, and who knows, maybe there's another oxen still to be found. Suggestions are that it's pre-Iron Age, so it may well date from, well, sorry, I say pre-Iron Age, pre-Roman, so it may well date from before the Roman invasion of Scotland, which was towards the latter half of the 1st century. Now, quite a number of you got in touch with me in June and July through my YouTube page to point me in the direction of this little diagram or this little photograph. And this is an article which appeared in August on the front page of the Searcher. And some of you might recognise some similarities. So this was part of a vessel hoard, which is called the Langston Vessel Hoard. It was found by a man called John Matthews in Monmouthshire. That's a mouthful. Now, I believe this is part of an extended discovery. I think the first part of the hoard, which is a vessel hoard, was discovered by John back in December 2020. He, as is legally required, reported it to the Portable Antiquities Scheme in Wales, and they then began to investigate, and he was involved in the excavation of several items on the site. And it was while they were investigating the site that they discovered, amongst other things, a cauldron and a bucket, and also a saucepan or patera, some mounts, tankards, and wine strainers. All the items believed to date to the 1st century AD, but there is a bit of a crossover between the Iron Age and the Roman invasion, which happened in England in 43 AD. So there's some suggestion that some of the items predate the Roman invasion and therefore are items that possibly came from Gaul, or what we now call France, in the 1st century, and other items may well have been through trade or later diplomatic gifts with the Roman invaders. Now, the local tribe to that area was called the Silures tribe, and as I say, some of the items appear to be from continental Europe, a period known as the La Tène period. There is an Iron Age hill fort quite near to the site, but the interesting thing, as I'm sure you've realised, is the bull, the oxen head. So the oxen represents a symbol of wealth and prosperity in the Iron Age, and the quality is pretty exceptional. It's almost got a smiling face, and out of the mouth comes the handle which actually supports the vessel. So I'm sure you can see some similarities. Fingers crossed that most of you don't think it's quite as good as Albert's, but I'm happy to hear what you think. Now, some of you might recognise the writer of this article, a somewhat handsome fellow by the name of John McKechnie, who appears up here. Some of you may know him as the Scottish detectorist. There are various photographs of said bull, and also some of the other items that have come off of the site. So what I'll do at the end, I'm just going to take a little photograph of the article for anyone who maybe wants to read it, and maybe you'd like to learn a little bit more about Friday the 13th of January, when Albert should have decided to retire from metal detecting, because he will never get a day like that ever again, unless of course he finds the other bull. And here are the items found by John in Monmouthshire. God, I always struggle to say that, which is in Wales, to the west of England. So top left-hand photo, you will see, I'm sure, lots of similarities with the bronze ox, not a bull, but an ox, which was a major part of life in the UK, not just in the Iron Age, but all the way through into the medieval period. And they would put those little circular balls on the end of their antlers, ox knobs, to stop them from taking your eye out. So health and safety in the Iron Age and the medieval period. Top right photo and bottom right photo, you will see a decorated patera, which is a little sort of saucepan. And on the next page, you'll see the excavation. This is John up here, and he was heavily involved in the excavation, so that's a pretty amazing thing to be involved in. And then you've got the conservation process, and then lastly, you've got the final picture. So they actually removed the vessel in a solid lump of earth so that they could delicately excavate it using X-ray technology as well to make sure that they got every single bit of information possible. So quite an incredible find. So let's have a wee closer look at what Albert found back in January of 2023. So here it is, the greatest metal detecting find that I've ever held in my hand, found by Albert back in January of 2023. And incredible that he was only detecting for 5 months. As soon as he came over and he put this in my hand, initially I thought he was winding me up. And within a couple of seconds I realised that he may have just found one of the greatest finds ever discovered in Scotland with a metal detector. So the belief is that it's an ox, a stylised ox. You can see the horns joined together with a little ball. On the back here there's this circular loop which has got quite a lot of wear in it. And in the mouth you can see the 2 rivets where it would have been attached side on onto some sort of bowl or vessel, possibly made of wood. You can see by the wear in the loop that it was in use for quite some time before it was lost. But the thing that strikes me the most about this item is the detail and the quality. It is of unbelievable quality. One of the greatest things ever found metal detecting in Scotland. And I'm sure a lot of you are wanting to know a little more. Obviously, Albert and I dropped this item off at the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh to the Treasure Trove Department, where it was going to be looked at. I know that the archaeologists were desperate to see it in person, and I could see that the 2 people that we handed it over to, just how blown away they were by the quality of this item. In terms of an update, I'm afraid we don't have anything to report at the moment. I gather that it's going to be going before a panel sometime this summer, and I'll keep you posted. But if you want to know more, then have a look back at my previous videos. So, I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit different from my usual, but I've been out detecting today, and I'll hopefully get another video up just in the next day or 2, and it is a cracker. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know your comments on Albert's Bull and that other incredible item found in Monmouthshire. Got it right this time, I think. But apologies if I didn't. And yeah, let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. So fingers crossed we're going to hear something from Treasure Trove sometime soon about Albert's Bull, which they've had since, I think, the end of January. So take care. Thanks for watching. And hopefully we'll see you on the next video. All the best.